Welcome to Café of Delights, conversations that enlighten and inspire with me, your host, Gale West. We are at the precipice of one of the most exciting evolutions in human history, from science to spirituality, culture, arts, cutting-edge psychotherapies, new economies, and more. We will explore how to create a world where all can thrive. In a series of riveting interviews, you'll have the opportunity to hear from those that are actively working at the edges of local, regional, and global transformation. Join me, your host and author of the book Money Come Dance With Me, Gale West, to be inspired, delighted, and filled with hope for a new reality. Café of Delights starts now. Hello, and I'm Gale West, and we are live. I'm here in Los Gatos, California. And where are you, Patsy?
I'm in Redding, California, kind of in the middle of the state.
So I'm so excited to have my guest today, Patsy Sanders, who I've known for a while, and she is amazing. She is an international image stylist, coach, and master hairstylist and speaker who is known as total transformation specialist. Her clients' images reveal who they truly are from head to toe and from the inside out by teaching the unknown secrets of how to align with their essence. How you feel in your clothes is as important as how you look in your clothes. What you wear affects your income, whether you get that job, client, and how easily you connect to others, your ability to attract that ideal partner, and even how you perceive yourself. Living in her element as a fire has equally transformed her experience of showing up authentically in the world. She confidently walks through life, graciously accepting compliments. That's so cool, no matter what she is wearing. Patsy is on a mission to help others discover the joy of living in harmony with their true authenticity by finding their own unique style through element typing system. Welcome, Patsy. I'm so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here, Gale. Thank you so much.
So I asked the same question of all my guests. And since this is a Cafe of Delights, what is delighting you now and what brings you hope?
Well, I think color delights me, especially a beautiful bouquet of flowers. And just I've been able to appreciate the power of color. And I really love that. It brings me delight. You know, I could look at a bouquet of flowers and bring it home and look at it every day. And it starts my day with like, oh, I can't wait to see what we're doing today.
So it's a beauty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, oh my, I'm all about flowers. Okay, next. What brings you hope at this time?
You know, I think that the hope for me is like, I know I'm on a mission and I know that this is what I'm called to do. And it just brings me a lot of joy and hope that I can help others appreciate who they were born to be, dress in a way that delights them, and that they feel beautiful or handsome.
And what is your origin story? I know it's been a journey to be where you are. Tell us a little bit about your origin story, and then you're doing so much work with people who are transforming their lives. Especially, you started a nonprofit too. So let's kind of go into that, and then we'll get into the power of color, and then the work that you do. Okay.
Well, you know, I think that my story comes from very poor parents, alcoholic family, you know, a lot of craziness growing up and stuff. But I've always had this love of doing hair. And so I won a scholarship to go to beauty college. And that's all I've ever wanted to do. So I've done it for many, 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 many years. And it's just so exciting to be able to do somebody's hair, have them walk in slumped, and then walk out feeling good about themselves. So I didn't realize that it involves all of you, right? And then I got married. We have a couple kids. My husband and I have been married 54 years. That brings me delight too.
Wow.
And then we decided to move closer to our family, to our daughter, when my husband's job ended at a mill. And so he took an early retirement and we moved down there and I got to be a grandma. And but it was a hard transition. I weighed 250 pounds. I was miserable. And I had roller coastered my whole life with weight issues. And then somebody introduced me to a program that dealt with food addiction. And I went from a size 2022 to a 6'8" in about 8 months. And I've been that way for like 50, almost 15, well, about 15 years. So that started my own transformation. Like, here I have the body I always dreamed about having, and being able to keep that really, had me really think about the people I work with all the time, right? And many times my clients would talk about the latest fashion and what they wore and that kind of thing. So then I met somebody in this program that was a speaker trainer, and she became my client, her and her husband, and she said, would you come and do hair at my event? I'm having my stylist come and type my people, and it has to do with your head to toe, like who you are, who you're born to be. And I said, sure. So I go there and I do everything. And then the stylist said, hey, Patsy, I'll do your colors. I'm thinking, no, I'm good. I'm fine. And then my friend Susan said, Patsy, really? You've been complaining things aren't going so well. She goes, wonder what color you're wearing is stopping people from working with you. Well, I'd been color typed as a winter 20 years before, and always wearing black and jewel tones, right? Thinking that, and I knew how to look nice, right? So when she offered that, I didn't think it was mattered, but I thought, okay, I'll do it. And what happened, I ended up being a fire. And I didn't want to be a fire because I was a winter. I didn't want to wear warm fall colors, right? But then she started to explain about the difference of you being element color typing versus the seasonal. And it was really about your natural character traits. She said, fires, movers, and shakers, they get things done. She goes, Susan tells me all the stuff you do. She said, what if we just go to a consignment store and buy a few tops and you try it out? What if they don't compliment you and you don't see how they respond to you, you don't have to do this. So I said, fine. So we found a couple tops. I wore them to work, and people started going, hey, Patsy, you look pretty today. Hey, Patsy, you look nice today. Not, hey, Patsy, I like your hair, or hey, Patsy, I like your outfit. It's like they saw me. I was visible, and the color complemented my resonance of who I was from the inside out. Life-changing. So I decided to get trained as a stylist and work with the trainer. And after 2 years, she got very ill, and I managed the business. And then she sold me the business about 6 years ago. So I think God has a sense of humor. I didn't even want to get color typed, and now I own the business. So it's been a delightful journey, seeing the transformation for people, working with Susan alongside her as a coach. She helped her with the talk, and they did the inside, and I got to do the outside. And then the confidence that changed, the resonance of how people showed up and felt about themselves. It was so great to see them comfortable in their own skin, know what to buy, how to invest in clothes, having a color palette that, resonates with them. And this is mine. And it was like, wow, this is so transformational. So it feels so lovely to work with people with the magic of color to help them embrace who they naturally are, because each person has their own resonance, right? And it's been delightful. It's just been so much fun.
Well, there's color. There's so much research on color and how color changes our reality. It changes who we are when we have colors that are beautiful and bright. It makes us happy. And so what you're talking about is resonance. And I think I'd like to go a little bit more into the idea of resonance, because as an artist, I really know that every color has a vibration, every color has a resonance. And we as human beings also have a resonance.
Absolutely.
So what is this? You talked about being a fire.
Yeah.
And I do know you as a mover and shaker. So what are the elements that we were talking about, like water? Talk to me about a little bit more about that and how that relates to color.
So there are four
resonance.
elements: air, fire, water, and earth, right? And each one has their own character traits and their own different resonance. But so I'll show you this one. This one is a half fan. We use these to help us shop and go through our clothing. This is air. And so the energy of air is bubbly and light and crisp. They're the outgoing kind of people, right? And then there is the fire. That's me.
So
And
for
then
those of you, hold on a second. For those of you who are on Spotify or iHeartRadio, she's showing like a little half fan kind of thing that has different colors in it. So the first, so the air colors, can you describe the air colors for those who are?
so the air colors are bright spring colors, lemon yellow and corals and bright blues and, yummy, bright, fun greens. So they're more dynamic, kind of like springtime. Then the fire color is more like fall, and it has more of the warm tones and the terracottas and the browns and the olive greens and the deep teals, and that is the fire. And so their energy is like, they get stuff done, right? Then there's the earth, and earth is what we call winter. They're the cool tones. These people get to wear black and white and blue reds and dynamic prints and colors. And their energy is more of that editor. Like they get to minimize, they look at stuff and they know how to bring things together, right? And then there's water. Water is the soft, beautiful tones of summer times, and everything is muted, and the colors in their palette have gray added to it. So they have these beautiful, soft gray blues and these beautiful rosy pinks, and just everything about the water is to go with the flow. Like when you think about water, if it didn't have a container, it would flow on forever. And you think, oh, water might be mamby-pamby, but think about it. Water carved the Grand Canyon. So when people are in their resonance and they wear their colors, people can relate to them because they're in alignment from their soul level, and it makes them radiate their beauty and their handsomeness. So it's a fun process I have to take people through to be able to help them discover their own unique color palette of whether it's air, fire, water, earth. It's a lot more involved than just sharing that, but I think people don't understand that sometimes we have a closet full of clothes we don't wear and we don't know why. We could be wearing the latest fashion and still not feel confident and beautiful. You're just trying to keep up with what the fashion industry says. And not that you can't look nice, but if people aren't seeing you complimenting how nice you look, you might be missing something, right? How about you, Gale? Do you wear everything in your closet now?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I fought the water thing kind of sort of. It took a long time before I got rid of my black pants. So I'm water, and fortunately my husband is water too. So when we moved from Illinois last year to Los Gatos, California, which I absolutely love. And we decided to leave the things that were not in alignment with our element behind. We had this gorgeous peach colored velour couch that was just stunning, but it felt too bright. It felt like it didn't really fit us. So we decided to leave it behind, and then we consciously brought things into our home that was intentional in alignment with us. And I remember we had a really gorgeous handmade really bright red comforter back in Illinois. We'd left that behind, and we got this really beautiful kind of flowy blue thing that is just stunning. And every time I walk into my bedroom, I feel, I can relax. There's something about in the intentionality of having colors that are really resonant. When I talk about this idea of essence, there's a resonance that happens that you can just kind of relax into being who you are. That's been my experience of it. That's been powerful. So let's go a little bit more into like you talk about how things are aligned. Like, what does that mean when we're talking about resonance? So let's go a little bit more into like fire.
Okay.
Like, for you, what was the transformation that you noticed? I mean, other than people going, "Oh, you look nice," what did you notice as a human being? How that shifted for you?
Well,
Because
what was really
remember, you have the company.
yeah. What was fascinating is that when you know what your color palette is, you get a digital booklet that teaches you what each one is. And on the back of each of the color strips, every strip in your color palette has a purpose. Like there's 6 basic foundation colors, and those are colors you'd wear for business, or if you're a speaker, you know, you are the expert when you wear those colors. And maybe if you go to a network event or you're online, you might want to wear a dynamic so people can see you. It's more of an outgoing, energetic color. Or maybe you're going to be speaking with somebody and it's kind of a tough situation. You might want to wear a tranquil. Well, so when I first got color typed, I'm trying to figure out this energy of color and harmony thing. And so what I did was I started shopping little by little, adding things in, and I found this beautiful, soft peach blouse that a really beautiful Alfani. It had a V-neck, which is my shape, and I found a duster to go with it. And I was asked to help at an event and with another stylist, and I worked the back of the room, inviting people in and giving them their stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll wear this. But when I put it on and I looked into my digital guidebook, I thought, okay, what does flesh tone mean when you're in your energy of that? And it says they're closest to your natural skin tone, and it allows access to your heart with purity, conveying openness, deep connection, intimacy, safety, and trust. Well, I thought I wanted people to be able to trust me and just walk up and start talking to me. And fires can be outgoing, kind of sassy. So I didn't want that energy. I wanted something softer. I thought, well, this is the perfect outfit. So I'm setting up in the morning, and the other stylist walked in and she said, Patsy, you look luscious today. I said, I do? She said, yes. I said, thank you. I wore that same outfit to a networking event, and a lady came up to me that I had only met once. She said, Patsy, you look radiant tonight. I said, thank you. I hadn't said a word either time. I understood the energy of color. Like when you know what you're wearing intentionally and why you're wearing it, people can connect with you without even trying. It's this amazing energy that happens when you're in a residence. So I know when I walk into my closet every day, I get to choose the energy I want to bring to the room. And all of it's going to be in harmony with me because they're all on my color palette. And the part that's interesting is I think a lot of people have a hard time shopping or finding what they want. And the national average is we only actually wear about 20 or 25% of the clothes in our closet anyway. We have this section to our closet that we keep going, to because we're most comfortable in those colors. But we don't know it subconsciously that's what we do. It's this unconscious thing.
That 80-20 rule, which is
Yeah.
funny. It's true. So we're going to take a break in a moment. I'd like to go a little bit more into the idea of the tranquils and dynamics, and so we really understand that each one of these colors can bring a certain energy and intention into the day. It's interesting, the day. So when you want to have intention in the day, what would be good colors? So we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to go more into color and the magic of color with Patsy Sanders. I'm so excited to have you, Patsy.
Imagine if you were truly flourishing, how would your financial expansion impact the world? Author of Money Come Dance With Me, Gale West is an internationally known speaker, creative catalyst, and business intuitive at Success with Soul. Work with Gale to create a new relationship with money as your friend. Link the soul of your business to the business of your soul with programs like Sacred Money Mastery, Akashic Records of the Soul, and more. To receive a healing money meditation, go to successwithsoul.com today.
Café of Delight, conversations that enlighten and inspire with me, your host, Gale West. Tune into transformationtalkradio.com every second and fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. We are at the precipice of one of the most exciting evolutions in human history. On Café of Delights, you will hear from those that are actively working at the edges of local, regional, and global transformation. For more information on hope for a new reality, visit Gale West at successwithsoul.com. And we are back here on Café of Delights. We are live, which is usually not the case. I'm so excited to have Patsy Sanders, who's a color stylist, and she's been talking about the power of color and how there's different kinds of colors that set a tone, right, Patsy? So
Yeah.
you talked a little bit about tranquil, dynamic. So let's go into, you said there's 6 different types of colors. I love color. I'm an artist. So this idea that all these different colors radiate a certain energy, I think is really profound. So what was tranquil and tranquil? Yeah. So
Well, tranquil's really good. I think it's a great color. Like you get up and you're feeling a little off that day or tired. You can go and put on a soft tranquil color, which is more usually the softer tones in your palette. And the energy you take on is tranquility. And the people around you also feel tranquil. So without saying a word, you can have that energy bring into the day. Or if you're working with somebody that is going through a hard time, or you're talking with a friend and you want to really connect with them, if you're wearing tranquil colors, they will feel tranquil around you. Right.
Mhm.
And I've seen it happen. Like when I wore my flesh tone and I wanted people to, feel trust and comfortable around me, these people came up to me and started talking and complimented how I looked. I
Mhm.
just wonder how many people get compliments all the time. I get compliments all the time. Even the guy at the grocery store said to me one day, "You look nice, lady." And I had just been, I just gotten my colors and I thought, okay. And I thought, how does he know? I didn't say a word to him. Do you know what I'm saying? And then the dynamics are these brighter colors in your palette that just energetically, it's like that achievement, that person that you want to light up a room kind of a thing. You have 2 or 3, well, each palette has different ones. And the part that's really interesting is like everybody has the first strip in their palette is their patterns. And they really give you an energy of like movement and shape and softness or not. And some people love patterns and some don't. So what's really fascinating is once you know your core element, like yours is water, which is that go with the flow, soft, beautiful color palette. And the fire is that spicy, sexy, sassy kind of color. I like patterns, but they have to be just right. And you may not like patterns as a water, but you can choose the energy you want to bring to the room regardless of what is in your palette. But then I have a couple airs that have these bright colors, lots of patterns, and they don't like any pattern. They're more of the solid tones. So that's what's fascinating is once you know your core element, then you put on your personal style. We work with you to find out what is your unique style. What do you do in your life? And your color palette should cover what you do at work, whether you're going to be on Zoom or not, and the rest of your lifestyle. Are you traveling? Are you going hiking? Like you hike all the time. You have certain things that you wear, right? And you start building a wardrobe that everything in your palette you love to wear. So I know you easily can go and think, oh, I'm going here. I'm going to grab this. Or I get lots of compliments of this. I'm going to a new event. I think I'll wear that. Like when you don't know what to wear, a lot of times you pick those colors that you've already been complimented in, that you already know you feel good in. And that's another thing. It's a transition. It takes time to transform who you're being and what you're wearing. Like I say, it really is about being more attractive, more approachable, more confident, and feeling beautiful or handsome in what you're wearing. And so you don't have to think about that. Once you get dressed, you get your hair and your makeup and your outfit on, and you walk out of the room, you're ready for the day. You can focus on the people around you. You can focus on what you're doing. You're not consciously like, oh, I wonder how my hair looks today. That kind of energy. So there's a deep confidence that happens when you know what to wear and what to buy. People spend thousands of dollars on clothes and hours of shopping and money, and they don't wear a lot of that stuff. So I found that when I started work with my clients, that they would donate their clothes to me to get rid of because they didn't want them in their closet anymore. And then I started selling those to other people that it worked. And it ended up working that a lot of those clothes I would get, I would give to some of the women that I did for free in some of the, the recovery centers and stuff like that. I used to always go and cut hair for all these recovery centers because, wow, just getting a new haircut makes you feel like a new person, And so I knew I could do that, and they loved that. But then I started to realize that I could maybe color type them, and I could give them the right clothes, and I can help them shop. So now I've started a nonprofit to do that, to help women in transition and elevate their look and their confidence and their beauty, right? I think everybody deserves to look and feel beautiful or handsome. Everybody deserves that. And I think it's something that we don't talk about much. And it really has to be the base of color. Color is magical. It invokes a feeling like when you wear blue, it's more tranquil, right? Like a lot of people have blue bedrooms because it's that soft tranquility, right? You have that blue bedspread that you feel tranquil when you walk in your bedroom, right? And the beautiful blue couch you got in your front room. Oh, and that's a foundation color. It's an expert color. Like, oh, I walk in there and think, oh, I love that color. So it's just fun. Even your art, if you think about it, we don't make a decision about hardly anything without considering the color.
Right. Yeah.
Buying a car, painting a room, picking on a new bedspread, right? Do you think about color most of the time? Well, I know you do because you're an artist, but when you buy something.
Well, honestly, now that I've gotten to know you and I'm being really conscious about like the colors that resonate with me, there is more of an intentionality about making sure that I have something that feels really good. And I'm getting to the point where I can, we were at a concert, I was at a concert last night, and this woman had this gorgeous green that was in my palette. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that green. And in the past, I wouldn't have been so connected to the fact that there was something about that just felt really comfortable and really luscious and really just felt good to have.
Yeah.
So when I think about us as human beings, and I know that you have a really strong spiritual life.
I do.
And the idea that so how does this working with color relate to your spirituality and your sense of I know you like the G word, God. Some other people don't feel comfortable with that, but just the divine and divine source.
Yep.
How does that connect to your spirituality?
Well, I think
and your mission.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is I have loved God since I was a little girl. I found going to church, I love that. I knew that God loved me. Even when life was tough and I was young, I knew that God was always there for me. So I have intentionally grown my spirituality because I know that He's always going to take care of me, even when I don't know what the future holds. And so when I was introduced into the element color typing system and so resistant, I didn't even want to get color typed. I only did it to make my friend happy. I didn't really want to do that, but I felt like in my spirit, I knew I should at least try it because I was struggling trying to build this new business in this new town. And I thought, well, might as well try it. And what was interesting is that I would go back to the network groups and the different people I were hanging out with. And now they started booking with me. They wanted to work with me. And before they didn't. And so I realized that when I was wearing black, it was intimidating. But when I was wearing olive green, they'd come up and talk to me. And I found that fascinating. So when the chance came to do the color typing with that, I wanted to see how it worked. And so when I saw the different response for people and working with a speaking coach, and we'd work together, that these people would leave their job, they would finish her course and start making money. They would be speaking on stages, charging more money. And I found it fascinating. And then when my friend said, you should buy the business from Barbara. Her health is gone. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do that. And I'm thinking, God, should I buy this business? Really? I didn't even want to do this. And God said, yes. In my spirit, I knew I'm supposed to do this. Well, what a perfect alignment for my beauty business of doing hair 50 plus years. And adding that to it is like, now I could address the whole person, the woman or the man. And it just changed my life. I was so inspired by it that I got this download to start asking the universe for a makeover studio. And I found this little place. I could do people's hair. I could do their color. I could do their makeup. I had, gently used clothing from people. I bought accessories. I did everything in one spot. And my business took off and grew. And now I know that at this age, at 72, That's all I want to do is I want to empower people to look and feel beautiful and be more confident. The world's constantly telling us you're not thin enough, you're not pretty enough, you don't make my money, you don't do blah, blah, blah. It's not true. Is if you feel beautiful and if you feel confident, we can do anything. We can do anything. And God just directs me what I'm doing. And I just think, okay, God, I don't think I can do this without. And he goes, right, you have to depend on me. I'm going to help you. And that's what I feel like is happening. And now that's all I want to do is, help people be more confident and beautiful.
So it's interesting because many people are retiring at 65 or whatever, and you starting a business when you were 65, probably when you start this business.
Yeah.
72, and I don't think you're ever going to grow old because, and you look really young for 72.
Thank you.
And the energy that you exude is it's the energy of a 20-something person that is just so, when we are in our youth, there is an excitement about possibility and what could happen. And I feel from you that same energy of possibility, that there is an expansiveness that you bring to the table that is, it's not only luscious, it's you exude a certain power, and it's not force, but it's a power that it comes from mission, and it feels like you really are in alignment with your mission, and that the idea that color helps other people connect to their mission or their beingness. Does that seem right?
Yep, absolutely. And when you get to watch somebody transform and they thank you because they feel beautiful, it's worth every minute I spend with them, because I see everybody as beautiful or handsome. I see the possibility when I look at them, and I just think, wow, I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait for you to enjoy being you and feeling that inside, right? Inside out. And it's life-changing. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember that, when everybody was doing Zoom during the pandemic, there was this news program and they had this woman on and she had this bright red lipstick, and I kept saying, oh, that's not her color, because all I could see was her lips and her lips moving. It was like really distracting because she was talking away with these bright red lips. So,
I know.
and I was thinking about how something that would be more aligned with her would be where she could be looked at as really the expert that she was, instead of this, and when Zoom happened, we all didn't know how to do it, and we all didn't know like how to have our backgrounds and how to look and all the other kinds of things. Now it's getting better, but I'd like to think about the idea of the tranquility for those of us who are coaches and consultants, wearing things that bring a sense of confidence, and not only with yourself, but with other people, that they feel comfortable with you, that they feel like they can trust you, I think is really important. Do you agree?
Yeah. I found a statistic that just is so true today, that people make an assessment about you in the first 3 to 5 seconds they see you, and 50% is on what you're wearing, according to Harvard Business School. And so, what I thought about? We all make an assessment of somebody in our mind, in our subconscious. Like, you go into a store, let's say Walmart, for instance, and you think, why would they wear the pajamas here? Why would they dress like that? So when they dress like that, they don't care and they're not confident, right? But then you see somebody else that's lovely to look at, and you think, wow, aren't they beautiful? In your mind, in your heart, you can see whether people look good or not. There's a lot of people that wear the latest fashion that look lovely, but are you connecting with them? Do you see them first and then their outfit? That's the difference. You can have the nicest clothes and spend a lot of money. But our friend Susan, she did that and nobody wanted to work with her. And as soon as she found out she was an heir and wore those bright, fun spring colors, then she started getting clients. And all she did was change her clothes. Like, she couldn't believe it. Now I'm part of her program. If you want to be on her stage, you got to dress in your colors so people can connect with you without even trying, right? So it's like, we do this all the time. We make an assessment. Don't you? Like, you look at somebody like that lady, you're trying to listen to the news. All you can do is look at her lips. She missed the whole news.
Yeah, totally. Going back to this idea that we judge people, I remember years and years ago, and this was in the 80s, that I was working as a social services, and I had to go to the food pantry to help them assess who was eligible for getting food. And this woman walked in who looked really beautiful, and she was dressed really nicely. And one of the people, the volunteer, said, "Well, I thought you had to be poor to come here." And I said, "Well, you do. You do. Well, what about that person? She doesn't look poor." And I said, "Well, what does poor look like?" Thankfully, her spirit hadn't been crushed yet, and poverty can crush your spirit.
Oh, yeah.
The things that happen to you can crush your spirit. So I saw her as her spirit hadn't been crushed, and she wasn't, even though she was in a place where she was really struggling financially, she wasn't allowing her spirit to be crushed. And it's really easy to have your spirit crushed by your parents and what they tell you, or by circumstances and things that happen to you. Homelessness, I'm sure the people that you work with in your not-for-profit have experienced a lot of feelings of being crushed.
Yep.
When someone sees them as beautiful and lovely and a child of God, as you would say, something happens. There's something that wakes up to their very essence, and that's what's really powerful.
Absolutely. And the other thing too is, like, I work a lot with those type of women, and if they're in a recovery home, that means they have some hope. They want to change their lives. And this is a safe place for them to do that and get the tools and the education and the training they need so they can move on. And I recently just worked with two young women, and they both just got jobs, right? I think they were in their late 20s, early 30s or something. New haircut, color type them. We got to go shopping, as part of the thing. And you have to be in a place to want to look better. You have to want to step into being more of who you are, who you were born to be. And it's exciting watching their joy and their delight of having hope for the future. One girl just got a job at Macy's in the makeup counter. How fun with, what a great place to go to be able to feel more beautiful, right? So it's delightful.
And when we come back, I'm going to go more into the power of transformation, and the idea that you have to want to change, you have to have hope, and you want to transform, and that's something that you bring to the table. So we're taking a break. This is Cafe of Delights. I'm your host, Gale West, and I'm here with Patsy Sanders, and we'll be back in a minute.
Imagine if you were truly flourishing, how would your financial expansion impact the world? Author of Money Come Dance With Me, Gale West is an internationally known speaker, creative catalyst, and business intuitive at Success with Soul. Work with Gale to create a new relationship with money as your friend. Link the soul of your business to the business of your soul with programs like Sacred Money Mastery, Akashic Records of the Soul, and more. To receive a healing money meditation, go to successwithsoul.com today.
Cafe of Delight, conversations that enlighten and inspire with me, your host, Gale West. Tune into transformationtalkradio.com every second and fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. We are at the precipice of one of the most exciting evolutions in human history. On Cafe of Delights, you will hear from those that are actively working at the edges of local, regional, and global transformation. For more information on hope for a new reality, visit Gale West at successwithsoul.com. Hello, we are back on Cafe of Delights. I'm your host, Gale West, and I have Patsy Sanders with me as my guest. And on our break, I was talking to my lovely producer, Colton, and he was referencing, he goes, well, I'm an earth sign, so I love earth. So I'm going to talk about that I'm a fire sign, but I'm actually a water in your element thing. So people have there's some kind of confusion about who you are as your astrological sign and who you are as your element. Can you go into that, Patsy?
We have, well, this is the part that's interesting. So let's say that in the computer world, when you know your element, that's the hard drive. And then all these other different entities that come out, human design and, your Sagittarius, like all those things are just part of who you're being in the world, right? And so it's just this core layer of that. And then each one has its own individual aspect of who you are, because we have lots of parts of who we are, right? We're not just one person. This is really based on the Essence Reveal system is really based on your natural character traits, your physical features, your natural gifts, like stuff that you do automatically anyway. We take all of those, and then when we color type you in the fabric, textures, and colors, we can see when you light up, like we can tell what your element is when your eyes light up and your skin clears out. And it's like seeing the window to your soul. Like, oh, there she is, there he is, right? It was quite fascinating learning the process of doing that. And then when you combine those together with the proper color palette, then you have a whole bunch of energetic words that align with that. And so on the first page of the digital style booklet, it has all the energetic words about who you are and how you show up and what you're being. And when I start reading those to my people, they go, yeah, no, yeah, that's, yeah. So I think it's more complex than people think about. But I think the whole thing is when you know the core of how to show up and be yourself, it really is being your natural self with confidence. It makes everything change for you. Like you can go back to your color palette and you could always shop and know exactly. The part that I love the most is when people start adding a few things to their wardrobe, trying out their color palette, and they start getting compliments. They know it's for real. Like it really changes who you are. And it's a transformation. It takes time. We don't throw all of our clothes out of the closet. We just do it little by little. But there's a process we go through to discover who you really are and your natural gifts and how you show up in the world. And there's just a whole elevation of being in resonance with yourself without having to try so hard.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, even in business, we don't ever stay the same. We evolve, right? Like I think about your life, Gale, like writing that book, it changed my life. Reading your book changed my life. And it gave me a whole different aspect to think about and how to pray for things and how to align with money. And think about, you were in the middle, you had to go through a stroke or two, like your life changed, right? And what it made you do is go, I want to live in California. You've always wanted to live here. So you were in alignment with what you wanted and you stepped into that. And part of that was that letting go of and stepping into. You had to let go of the old furniture and the things that really weren't working for you, right? Because you started understanding who you are naturally. And then when you stepped into that, I just see how much delight you are living in that adorable little town. I just loved going there.
Well, you're right. So this feels so aligned in a way that I can't even describe. That where I live and how beautiful it is, the climate and just the energy of this area just feels really delicious and so expansive for me in the way that Chicago never did, even though I love the city and I love Lake Michigan. And I'm thinking about, so I had a number of years ago, someone do a series of little videos, and in a couple of them, on a green screen, a couple of them had the black as a background. And I'm like, oh my God, that is not good. I looked really old and saggy, and like, it really accentuated the fact that I'm like whatever my age was and times 10. Like, get that background off. And I hadn't really realized, and so many people think that you have to have the little black dress that everybody has to have. That is so not true. And so talk a little bit about that, and then I want to go into how people can connect with you. And you're not
Okay. Well, what I found out is that the fashion industry has primed us to do whatever they want us to do, right? And so one is everybody should have a little black dress. But if it's not in your color palette, it's like wearing an invisible cloak. You could be there wearing black, but you have a floating head, and energetically people can't connect. And you, knowing their background is wrong, you could feel the energy of a negativity, like it doesn't resonate with you. So it's this amazing awareness. And the thing is, why would you want to look like everybody else? Why wouldn't you want to look like yourself so you can stand out in the crowd being noticed for you wearing what you look good in, really look good in, right? And I find that fascinating. And they've primed us like, oh, you've got to change styles, and here's a new color palette. You have to wear all of these colors. Oh my gosh, when you use your color palette and you know your style, you don't compromise anymore. It doesn't matter what the fashion industry is trying to sell you, because every season they just want to sell you new clothes. They don't care if it's your color or if you look good in it. They just want you to buy it.
Yeah, right. That's
What a
true.
waste of money and time.
And everybody does have a different style. So one
Yeah.
style could be casual, another style could be really formal. And it doesn't matter what your element is. It's whatever it is that your style, really, really feel into that, and allow yourself to know that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what the styles are. When you show up in a way that is so aligned with you, your color, your style, and who you are, something magical happens. That's why we call this the magic of color.
It is. It's truly true.
So let's go a little bit more into how people can connect with you. I want to make sure that happens. And I'd like to talk about, do you have like one or two stories of transformation of the people that you've worked with? That it's really exciting, because what we're talking about is you have to be ready. You have to be ready to be transformed. You have to be ready to be seen. You have to be ready to say, I want to be all that I can be, for you to be willing to show up and know what is your element. Because a lot of people, yeah, that's nice, but they're not ready. They're really not ready. And they don't understand how color has so much power and so much resonance, that when you wear what feels really delicious and right for you, something magically transforms. And what I know in my work is that more people are comfortable with constriction than expansion. More people are more comfortable with kind of being the way that everything always was, as opposed to allowing the potential to come forward, even though it's what they dream of, but they don't think that's possible. But you have to know, you have to dream your dream and be willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. I think the magic of color really is the best kept secret today, because this is a new level of being yourself and having color be the core of it, right? And so it's easy to go to, embracingyouresence.com, and there's a tab there called Let's Connect. And when you click on that, it's going to take you to a page. I've got a little video and to watch that, and a couple little testimonials there. And then you can click to make, after you watch those and you think, yeah, I think I want to move on, then you can make an appointment with me. And once you do, I'm going to send you a little, little questionnaire about, let's get acquainted, tell me about you, tell me about this, tell me about that. And that way, when we finally have a conversation, we're going to connect much faster, because I've already learned a little more about you, right? And you've seen me, you've seen some of the testimonials I've had. So that's a fun way to do it. So I'll just
say that again. Your fire talks really quickly.
I do.
Yeah, so you do. Slowly.
embracingyouresence.com. and you go down to the page and you click on Let's Connect. And then it'll take you through a process to set up an appointment so we can chat. How's that?
That sounds good. Okay.
So
So
let me tell you one story that was really funny. When I was working with Susan, she had a friend that lost her husband to cancer, and she was trying to coming out of the grief. And so she said, I'm bringing my friend in, and I want to color type her because she just needs a lift. I said, great. So we color typed her, and she ended up being a fire. So we went shopping, and she found these really cute bronze colored boots. And Susan goes, I'm going to buy those for you for helping Patsy in the kitchen. So, so I had a bronze jacket in my closet, but I wasn't wearing it. And I felt like God said to me, give that to Karen. I said, okay. So I brought it and I gave it to her, and it matched her shoes perfectly. She was thrilled. So then she has her color palette. She goes home. And then a couple of weeks later, she tells the story that she has a bunch of girlfriends that they get together and they go to the lounge every Friday night. And so she's wearing her colors, and she walks in, and this guy comes up to her and he goes, you look beautiful. I just want to kiss you. She said, okay, thanks. And went and sat down really quick. She goes, okay, you guys, I'm only going to wear black when I come in here. I don't want somebody coming up and want to kiss me. And I started laughing so hard, I almost fell off my chair. So people see you like
wow.
you're visible, like color just enhances your beauty. But anyway, I'll never forget Karen's story. It made me laugh so hard. So there's one lady I did that somebody referred to me that was in transition. And so I went over and I spent some time with her. She had a new baby that they had, and she was going through a really rough time. So we color typed her, did her hair, talked about her hair, and did her makeup, and then I took her shopping. And so now that testimony is on my page, and she was referred through a nonprofit to have me work with them and help her. But what happened, like she was struggling in her marriage. We were able to talk about that. We talked about a lot of things. And she had somebody to bounce that off of. And I felt like God just used me to encourage her and to kind of help her realize, hey, look, just take care of yourself. It'll be easier to take care of your baby and your husband, like kind of a thing. So just knowing that it can make a difference. And I think too, a lot of people in business, you don't know how it can up-level your business in such a quick time. And one of the national averages that people make at least 20% more than their competitors in their business who work with an image stylist. And so,
Okay, say that again.
okay, people
So-
make about 20% more that work with an image stylist over the competitors you're in. There's a lot of people in coaching, right? And so what's going to set you apart from other people out in the world doing the same work, right? What's going to set you apart helping your people? I love collaborating with coaches because together we can help their people up level who they're being as they're growing their business and out in the world speaking or, writing a book, doing whatever they do. So it's an investment that will more than pay for itself over the years. I mean, the money and time you save, you will be shocked how much you don't spend. And when you do buy it, you love it. You won't even, you will not leave it on the rack. You're going to take it home with you. So I find it fascinating that people sometimes have a challenge thinking, oh, should I do this? And I'm just telling you that most of the people I work with, especially the VIPs, they talk about how much more money they make, how much their business took off, how things have changed for them. And what they did was change what they wore and how they felt about themselves. Because, when you get on camera and you feel good about you bring a whole different energy to that room, to that Zoom room. Like you are so ready to connect, right? And you make it easy for people to connect to you, being resonant with your colors. So it's quite fascinating and it's so fun, right? So I love when people go, yep, I want to take it to the next level.
Yeah. So we're talking about color, which has a vibration. We're talking about resonance, which we all have a certain resonance as a human being. Even there's a whole research on the resonance of voice, that our voice has a certain resonance. So when we connect, when all of these things come together, there's something that is totally aligned with our divine essence in a sense. And we talked about this before we got on the call, was that, I believe that our body is the temple of our soul. It allows us to have this human experience. So when we honor it and we gift ourselves with things that feel really, really good, it's an expression of our divinity.
Yeah,
So can you say again how people can connect with you? And
okay, my website is embracingyouressence.com, and click on Let's Connect.
so we have about a minute left, I believe. And any last words, Patsy?
This is one of the sayings I made up. Fashion's a look. It's not an age. It's not a size. It's not a name brand. And it's certainly not a price tag. It's who you're being and what you're wearing. Confident, approachable, feeling attractive, and knowing you're beautiful just where you're at.
Thank you. Thank you. And this is Café of Delights. And we are talking to Patsy Sanders. How you can get a hold of her again is embracingyouressence.com. And I am Gale West, your host. And next month, I'm going to have Patrick McManaway, and a doctor and an amazing man who's been working with nature spirits and elementals for many, many years. So lovely to be with you again. And I'm live in Los Gatos, California. And this is Café of Delights. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Café of Delights, conversations that enlighten and inspire with me, your host, Gale West. Listen or watch live every second and fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for a series of riveting interviews from those who are actively working at the edges of local, regional, and global transformation. From science to spirituality, culture, arts, and new economies, and more, we will explore how to create a world where all can thrive. For more information on hope for a new reality, visit me, Gale West, at successwithsoul.com.